Hi guys, so today we're talking about Degrassi season 12, and as I said with my last Degrassi video, I didn't want to make myself watch 45 videos in 1 week. That was a lot last week. So basically what we're doing is we're just going to do the way they split up the season. So we're ending right after Las Vegas and stopping right before Bittersweet Symphony Part 1. So we went up to episode 30 and then we'll finish the rest next week. So, you know, there are a lot of topics in this. I don't know if there are any triggering topics, but there are a lot of topics involved with this. So, so everything is solved in the next part. 1 and 2 are two-parters. So I'll read both of them and then we'll jump into it. Come As You Are, Part 1. With Katie back from rehab, Drew struggles with finding a way to break up with her. Meanwhile, Claire is confused about how Eli feels about her after their kiss last term. Also, after comments are made about her flat chest, Maya begins to feel self-conscious. 2. Come As You Are, Part 2. While nursing a hangover, Drew doesn't understand why Katie thinks they're back together. Meanwhile, Claire has to figure out a way to cancel her first date with Eli when she begins an important internship. Also, Maya begins to wear chicken cutlets and auditions for Moe's band. So, no uniforms, forgets they had sex because they were blacked out drunk, wants to look more mature, cheating and trying to break up for somebody else. So no uniforms, that's just kind of a happy thing that happened. The first one plays a video of Drew admitting he cheated. Like that just, you know. Oh, sorry, that doesn't happen yet. So they still have that problem. But Maya throws her chicken cutlet at Owen after he makes a joke. Yeah. I liked how Maya threw the chicken cutlet at Owen and said, "This is the most action you'll get all year," because that actually is the most action Owen got all year. Okay, episode 3, Walking on Broken Glass, Part 1. Katie can't get over her heartache and decides to get revenge on Drew and Bianca. Meanwhile, Eli is forced to work with Becky Baker on the school play. Also, Tristan develops a crush on the new student, Campbell Saunders, and poses as Maya online to talk to him. So, Drew problem still is going on. Pretending to be friend online to talk to crush. So, number 1, like I said, played a video of Drew admitting he cheated. I do like how Katie played that video to expose Drew for cheating. I don't like how she kind of threw the hockey team under the bus to do it, but most of the people on the hockey team are assholes. The only people that are actually good on the hockey team that we find out later are Dallas, Owen, and Cam. Those are the only good people on the hockey team. Everybody else, definitely not Luke Baker, but we'll get to that. Second one solved in the next part. And Eli butting heads with the other play director. That's solved in the next part too. And so Katie gets revenge on Bianca by throwing eggs on her car and busting up her window. It's pretty badass of Katie, but I think that she shouldn't have blamed Bianca because Drew was the one that liked Bianca. Drew was the one that, you know, even though Bianca liked him, she was saying that he needed to be there for Katie. So Bianca was actually doing the right thing and Drew was doing the wrong thing. So I don't know why we're out here blaming Bianca, but okay. Episode 4, Walking on Broken Glass, Part 2. Drew deals with his concussion symptoms while trying to win back Bianca. Meanwhile, Eli and Becky clash while casting Romeo and Juliet, but after learning of her religious beliefs, he finds a way to force her out. Also, Tristan tries out for the play and continues to pose as Maya online in order to talk to Campbell. So, same problems. So, he tells Cam, and Cam gets upset and walks away. Obviously, if you're posing as somebody online, they're going to get upset at you. So I do like how Tristan came clean to Cam, and I kind of side with Cam. I do think that was a bad thing for Tristan to do. I don't think Tristan should have been doing that. Tristan should have just done what Maya said, where it's like, talk to him yourself, you know, but I mean, and oh, best line in Degrassi history. So Eli changed the play, and Becky has to quit because she doesn't believe it's okay. So, you know, she comes in, sees Tristan, and it's like, oh, it's Jules, a boy. And it's like, but Romeo's a boy. And there's that whole, you know, line about this is absurd and everything. And so she was like, but he's the principal of the school, you know. So they're talking about that. And then it gets into, you're doing this to push me off. And he's like, no, 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 but he really is. So where the best line in Degrassi history comes in is welcome to Degrassi, where she's like, this isn't right. And he's like, welcome to Degrassi. That is my most favorite line in any season of Degrassi, any episode. And I think it's great that Eli said it. It just added like more to it. I do think that it was good to, I mean, it's kind of mean to push Becky off, but I do like how they decided to do a musical making a message. At my high school, every year, my director would choose a play or a musical that about something she could relate to going through, or that we could relate to going through. Or she would choose something kind of like related to a current event that was happening at the time. And I think that just made the show a lot more memorable and a lot more fun to be a part of. So I think it's good that Eli tries to push the boundaries and does that. I would have loved to go see Romeo and Jules. I would have loved if we put it on at our high school. And Drew's concussion is ongoing. Episode 5, Got Your Money, Part 1. Zig has difficulty concealing his poverty when Tori makes a big deal out of their 4-month anniversary. Meanwhile, Dave has trouble adjusting to the idea of playing a gay Romeo in the school play. Also, Fiona returns to Degrassi, thrilled to see Imogen, but unsure the feeling is mutual. So, being poor, dine and dash, owing money, gay, taunting when you're not gay. It's all solved in the next part, but I do want to say, I think Tori overreacted about Zig canceling the date. That might just be me, and like, I know when you're a high schooler, you don't really know how to process your emotions correctly yet, but I think it was just kind of an overreaction, like how she reacted to Zig canceling one date. It's not like he canceled a bunch, it's only one. Episode 6, Got Your Money, Part 2. Zig is put in a difficult position when it comes to impressing Tori and contemplates stealing again. Again? When did he steal the first time? Meanwhile, the anticipation for his first time with Allie is ruined when the hockey players make fun of Dave playing a gay character. Also, Fiona learns that Imogen may be questioning her sexuality. So, sex. That's the new thing. So, Allie gets mad at Dave for yelling, they'll have sex. That's the problem. And, you know, I understand why Allie's upset. Obviously, she doesn't want her personal business being spread all over, especially to dumbass hockey players, because, you know. Also, disclaimer, I don't hate hockey players, I just don't like the hockey players in Degrassi. There we go. So he's poor, which that just stays a thing, obviously. But Tori still loves him and gives him a second chance. And I think it was really good that Tori decided to hear him out and give him a second chance and go on this date with him. I mean, obviously they love each other. They can make it through, obviously. So Zig's mom gives him the money. I do like how Zig's mom gave him the money even though they need it to make a living. Obviously, Zig shouldn't have dined and dashed. Obviously, I think we all know that's wrong, but I like how Zig's mom gave him the money and said, Novaks own up to their debt. And I really, really like that lesson. And I think Zig kind of took that through, like, the whole rest of the series. So Dave gets over the gay taunting by Eli telling him to go have sex with his girlfriend. I think Eli was right to tell Dave, what are you doing caring about what a bunch of losers think when you could be having sex with your girlfriend? I mean, I think that's what everybody would be asking. Like, why are you caring so much about what these people think when you could have sex with your girlfriend? Like, it's kind of like common sense. Episode 7, Say It Ain't So, Part 1. Allie finds out that she can finish school a year early and get an exclusive place at MIT. However, she grows sick and questions if she's pregnant. Meanwhile, Jake decides to forego college and work for his father. Also, Campbell has trouble fitting in with the hockey team. Excuse me. So, pregnancy scare, graduating early, going green, and not fitting in with the teammates. So, pregnancy scares in the next part. Graduating early is ongoing. Going green. So, Jake's dad offers to help him build a garden somewhere at the school, and I think that was really good of Jake's dad to be like, okay, you really want this project, you really want to do this, I'll help you build it somewhere, you know, as long as you promise to apply to college. Like, you don't have to go, but promise me you will, and I think that compromise was pretty good. And not fitting in with teammates. So Bianca catches him in the girls' room, and she's about to tell Simpson that he's a pervert stalker. But then she realizes that he didn't know he was in there and he's having a really hard time. So she decides to tell him to hang out with people who matter because high school sucks, obviously. And I really like that Bianca decided to give him some advice. She saw somebody who needed some advice and she offered it. Episode 8. Say It Ain't So Part 2. Scared about the fact that she may be pregnant, Allie makes a big decision regarding her future. Meanwhile, Jake tries to construct a rooftop garden at Degrassi, but finds it hard to do without his father. Campbell lashes out at Maya due to the stress that he's being put under. Oh. Well, 3 and 4 are in this. So, Dad offers to help Jake build a garden in episode 8, and Bianca helps Cam in episode 8. Sorry. They're arrows. I didn't see them. And the pregnancy scare, she's not pregnant. She gets the call from the clinic and it says she's not pregnant. I do like how she went to the clinic to get the answer because, you know, you want to be sure. And if you can't take a home test until some point, go to the clinic first. They could do a blood test and they can find out before. I would say the best thing to do is to go to the clinic, get a blood test, and take a home test just to be safe. But I think the clinic will probably be the most accurate test. And then graduating early is still ongoing. Oh, and Cam asks Maya to hang out. And it's really cute because he gets this happy smile on his face when she says yes. They're just adorable. I love them. Episode 9, Closer to Free, Part 1. Jenna is opposed to a friendship with Becky until she meets her attractive brother, Luke. Meanwhile, Claire receives advice from Asher and is embarrassed when Connor and Adam post their comments on Twitter. Also, due to his concussion, Drew's schoolwork begins to suffer. Yeah, they still use the name Twitter, but they changed Facebook to Face Range and all that other stuff. So, stuff Claire says, guy plays a girl, dropping out, and head problems, and baptism for a guy. It's all solved in the next part, so let's read it. 10. Closer to Free, Part 2. Jenna gets baptized in order to be with Luke, but soon realizes her intentions for doing so were a mistake. Meanwhile, Drew considers dropping out of school in order to work at the mall. Also, Claire is letting the Twitter trend affect her personal and professional lives. So, for stuff Claire says, she ends up walking in on them watching the video of them mocking her. And she ends up watching it with them and laughing with them, and she apologizes. And I really like how Claire owns up to her mistake for Connor and apologizes, because that was awful what she said. And I do have beef with Claire. I do. She's not one of my most favorite characters, but I do like how she does own up and apologize when she knows she's done wrong. So the second one was guy plays girl. So, and like the baptism goes in with that. So baptized for the guy obviously wasn't a good idea, but then she realizes the baptism is supposed to help her. And I like how she came to that conclusion, and I like how she realized that it was going to be positive for her. And I really like how Jenna finally feels like she found her path and her calling. So Drew got the job, and he moved in with Fiona, which I think was a really good place for him. It was a lot less stress to not have school, to just have this job that he's good at, and to move in with Fiona, you know, and he eventually becomes friends with her, and I really like their kind of close bond that they get. Episode 11, Waterfalls, Part 1. Claire, who wants Asher's approval, pitches a story about the play. Meanwhile, when Casey's mother smothers him and his friends, He and Bianca decide to set her up with their teacher. Also, Maya and Campbell go on their first date with Katie as nuisance chaperone. I love that, nuisance chaperone. So boss kisses intern, set mom up with the teacher, and crush on the new hockey player. So boss kisses intern is in the next part, set mom up with teachers in the next part. So they ditch Katie as a chaperone and connect in a photo booth. So they run away and hide from her in a photo booth, and they have a moment telling stories, and they connect, and it's really cute. Of course, Maya goes to kiss him, and Cam backs off a little bit because he's never kissed anybody, but we'll find that out in the next part. Episode 12, Waterfalls Part 2. Claire attempts to move past the fact that Asher kissed her and keep working with him until he inappropriately touches her. Like that. Meanwhile, Casey and Bianca celebrate the success in their plan until he receives life-changing news. Also, Maya and Campbell's relationship is threatened. So, same problems, but added wanting to kiss crush, like we talked about up there. So Asher apologizes, which I think it was really good for him to, you know, be like, that was wrong, I'm sorry, like that was totally inappropriate. But then he does it again, so she goes to his boss, obviously, to be like, hey, he's acting inappropriately towards me, I need to file a complaint. And then the boss says that he already said that she was harassing him, and there's all these, like, the Twitter feed and the call log, and that's just so upsetting when I hear about that stuff. Like, even in real life, that's so upsetting because he harassed you, but yeah, you're the one getting blamed. I think she should have gone to Miss O earlier, but I think everybody kind of agrees with that. But anyway. And, bails on Dave because... Oh, I'm sorry. Bails on date. It looked like Dave. The mom bails on the date with the teacher because Casey's dad got out of prison. I don't really like how she was trying to bring the dad back into life and be like, oh, we could be a family, because fuck no. Have you met his dad? 3. So crush on new hockey player. Almost kissed, but he chickened out, as in she ended up kissing his ear. It's an awkward moment, but we've all had awkward moments where we do things like that. Weird kiss, and everyone hears about it in class because Tori and Tristan texted her, and I don't really think they should have been texting in the middle of class, especially turn your ringtones off, and especially don't laugh. He gets embarrassed like anybody would. But then Cam comes to her house and says he's never kissed anyone, and he kisses her, and it's just a sweet moment where they open up that they've never dated anybody. They've never kissed anybody. And that was both their first kiss, and I think it was really sweet for Cam to have that moment with her. Episode 13, Rusty Cage Part 1. Campbell begins to feel the pressure of leading the hockey team to victory and skips practice to be with his friends. Meanwhile, Casey contemplates giving his father a second chance after he is released from prison. Also, Fiona and Drew blame each other for the mess in the loft. So, Cam skips practice and he sings with Maya, Dad trying to reconnect, and fight with roommate. So, the team makes Cam practice for longer and harder than they did because he skipped practice, and I think it was good that Cam had to kind of make up for it, but I don't think they had to skate him harder. I think they just needed to make him do what they did. And then the 2 other problems will be solved in the next part. 14. Rusty Cage Part 2. Campbell decides to get rid of the pressure and attention he gets from hockey by committing a dangerous act. Meanwhile, Casey realizes his father is a bad influence on his mother and decides to cut ties with him for good. Also, Drew and Fiona attempt to move past their arguing. This is sad, the last episode with Casey. So, same problems. I think Dave should have been there to say goodbye to Casey. I know Dave was a big friend of Casey's and was with him through a lot of things. But I do like how Bianca was there too because they got close. But I like how the main core was there, like Jenna, Allie, Claire, and Connor. Yeah, Dad gets drunk and gets himself arrested for violating parole. Obviously, they asked him to stay away. He didn't. So, and getting drunk is against his parole. So, obviously, Casey calls the police. I think it was good to get his dad locked up for violating parole because if you don't follow the rules, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Or don't do the crime if you can't do the time. You know that saying. You know what I'm trying to say. Drew helps Fiona learn how to clean because he learned from Miss Clean herself, Audra Torres. That's what he said. I thought it was really funny. Who's always folding laundry. So we know she knows how to clean. Because can I just talk about that? They did Audra Torres so dirty by making her fold laundry like every scene she's in. Like, jeez. How much laundry does she have to do? Like, y'all know you don't have to do laundry every day. Maybe if you have a newborn baby, it's different. Or maybe if you have kids, it's different. But I just know for me, like, in our household, like with my dad, my sister, and I, we didn't have to do laundry every day. So I'm just, 15, Never Ever, Part 1. Imogen designs an elaborate set for the play and is forced to ask her estranged mother for money. Meanwhile, Becky interferes with play's ticket sales by asking for donations to feed the homeless and butts heads with Adam. Also, Katie likes Jake but is convinced it's not mutual, and instead Dallas catches her eye. Okay, Dallas doesn't really catch her eye. She just said she's going to work with somebody that she can never like, 15, early onset dementia, money for production set, sick of the musical, and jealousy. So I actually have a personal experience with early onset dementia. That's why these videos are, these episodes are really hard for me to watch. My mother came down with early onset dementia when I was in 2nd grade. So I know exactly how Imogen feels about their parent coming down with it. It's very hard. You don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what causes dementia. Nobody knows what, and it's nobody's fault either. Like, you can't blame anybody, and so you're just kind of left to wonder. So I really relate with Imogen's story because of that. But that's solved in the next part. Excuse me, I got like a tickle in my throat. Money for production set. Imogen goes and talks to her mom. Her mom gives her $500, but I feel a little bad for the mom because she's like, it would be nice if when you came to visit, it wasn't about money. Also, I really like how she's checking up on Imogen and her dad because she knows what's going on. I like how she's trying to be there for Imogen. So sick of the musical, that's ongoing, and jealousy. So because Dallas gets, that doesn't happen yet. That's in the next part. So let's read the next episode. 16, Never Ever, Part 2. Imogen is in denial when her father is diagnosed with dementia while attempting to juggle completing the set. Fiona and an overbearing mother. Meanwhile, Becky feels guilty and wants to connect with Adam, not knowing that he's transgender. Katie and Jake become a couple, which doesn't sit well with Dallas. What does sit well with Dallas, honestly? Okay, so Imogen talks to her mom and she explains it to her. And I really like how they have this moment where her mom did explain to her what it is. And her mom told her, this is what's going to happen. It only gets harder. There's no cure. And it's really heartbreaking for me to watch Imogen try to find a cure because that was me as a kid. I was trying to find things that could help. And I was in like 4th grade. I didn't understand any of it. I was in 4th grade and like kind of like middle school when it got really bad. So, I didn't know how to help. So it was really, really bad. But yeah, so talk to her mom and she explains it to her, because her mom's a doctor, so she knows. 3 is ongoing, so sick of the musical. That's ongoing until the musical happens. But the jealousy, it's now solved where the hockey guys destroyed the garden because Dallas was jealous of Katie and Jake's relationship. So the team is kind of like backing Dallas. They're backing Dallas in a bad way, but when you're on a team, like if you've ever been on a sports team or like a theater production, everybody just kind of makes a little family and a bond and they come together and they're willing to do anything to cheer the people they care about up. It's kind of like that. 17, Sabotage, Part 1. Claire continues to avoid telling anyone the truth about her internship and makes enemies with the Ice Hounds when she writes a nasty article about them. Meanwhile, Dave enters a contest with Tori and Tristan to win a role on West Drive. Also, Drew feels left out and spends money to impress his friends. I just want to say, Dave did win, and that's great. Trying to find proof of workplace harassment, dropout, feels out of the loop with girlfriend, drinking on school property, boy kisses girl who has a boyfriend, writes an article about hockey players trashing garden. Drew and Bianca, he has to be her rock. So, Next part, trying to find proof of workplace harassment. Drop out. So that's in the next part too. 3. Simpson calls the coach when he talks to her, calls her and talks to her about the article, gives her punishment, but then Dallas is like, you were joining them just fine, and he's like, oh, so you admit the beer was yours, which then he calls the coach to dole out the punishment for Dallas and all the others that were drinking, which I think was really, really good. Gets detention, but Dallas admits the alcohol is his, you know, that whole thing with like trashing the garden. He's like, but we didn't do the garden, and Simpson's like, that's called reasonable doubt. And I like how they just kind of get him in trouble. Like, it's just so good. 18, Sabotage Part 2. Eli convinces Fiona to organize a surprise 17th birthday for Claire and discovers she's keeping a secret. Meanwhile, Dave feels that he and Allie aren't considering each other first and makes a decision about their relationship. Also, Drew's mother wants him to return home and go to school, but he has other plans. So, big problem. Boys crash party, and the fight is connected on a proposal. So, try to find proof of workplace harassment. Claire tells Eli the truth. I really like how she told Eli the truth. Like, look, Asher kissed me and I tried to complain and I got fired. So I really like how she felt comfortable enough to tell him the truth, and that way he can be there for her in this time. I feel like she just needed people there for her. And I really do commend Allie for being there for her the whole time too. I want to put that in there. Fiona kicks the boys out. It's a big power moment for Fiona. She's like, she just became friends with Dallas, but then he started a fight, so she's like, get out. And I like how the confetti cannon broke up the fight, but yeah, I really like how she kicked Dallas out. I love Fiona's character. Dave and Allie break up. That's just an update. They break up, they have a talk, and Dave's like, you know, we're not getting anywhere, we should break up. And it hurts, but Allie agrees with him. So Drew proposes and Bianca says yes. Dreyanka, yes, so cute. I love them so much. I actually got my sister a cameo from Luke Billick, and this is kind of a tangent, but you know when Drew and Bianca call off their engagement, it's either season 13 or I think it's season 13, they call off their engagement, and literally, like, he said to me and my sister, he said, do you think Drew and Bianca got back together? And he's like, you know what? Yes, because I don't think it made sense they broke us up. And he's like, we'll take it up with the writers together. So I love how Luke Billick even agreed that they shouldn't have broken Drew and Bianca up. But anyway, like, get it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Episode 19, Scream Part 1. Eli has to juggle opening night, fighting off Dallas, the Bakers, and a group of parents set on stopping the play while also seeking revenge for Claire. Meanwhile, Tristan wants to find someone to be his first kiss in the next 24 hours before the play opens. Also, Becky can't accept the fact that Adam is transgender. So, problems with the play ending, certain students trying to shut down the play, and plan to take down abuser. So, Eli changes the ending, which obviously I think that was a good idea. He decided instead of them embracing and having to part ways. I think that's a really good ending to the play. Sorry, my stomach just started to hurt a little bit. Tells Simpson and the PTA, and they have a meeting whether the play's still gonna happen or not. And I think it was really good for, you know, Eli to come into the meeting and say, you know, his piece about the new ending, and they all watched the new ending. Jennifer goes to tell police with Claire. I really like that Jennifer finally comes clean to Claire about Asher, and they go to talk to the police together. I want to talk about see how good a big brother Owen is. So when Luke has his phone and Tori brings it up, Owen's like, help pester my teammates, and then she's like, Tristan's missing, he's gonna miss the play, and this jerk has his phone, and then Owen like pushes him up against the locker, and I really like how good a big brother Owen turns out to be. Claire almost puts naked photos of herself. Okay, but then judge Allie. It's just kind of weird and ironic. They are going to judge Allie for taking naked photos of herself and sending them to Johnny, but you're doing the same thing, except you're not sending them, you're trying to get him in trouble. But does she not realize that those could prevent her from getting a job, like Miss Hatsalako said to Allie. First kiss. Tori kisses him. Tristan should have been okay with it being fake, but I agree he should have had his own. But at that point, I get Tori doing it to just be like, okay, I kissed you. Now let's get to the stage. And, you know, and like he should have known it was fake because obviously that wasn't like a real first kiss. That was just to try to get over, you know, yourself. Episode 20, Scream Part 2. Tristan is nowhere to be found on opening night of the school play. Meanwhile, Claire, along with Katie, concocts a plan to get revenge on Asher by planting nude photos of her on his computer. Also, Becky feels guilty for her actions and tries to earn Adam's forgiveness. So, yeah. So, abuser, first kiss, no Jules, so. Jennifer thing happens here, and Eli's like, you should tell Miss O, and she still didn't tell Miss O. Good big brother, Tori kissing him, and then no Jules. So Becky agrees to be Jules to help out, but Tristan shows up, but Adam lets her sing in the last song. All she wanted to do was be in the musical, and he gave that to her. So I really like how he's like, look, you were willing to do it, that's good, go sing the last song with everybody so that you get to be in the musical, because that's all she wanted to do since she got there. 21, Building a Mystery, Part 1. Becky begins to fall for Adam and worries about how her conservative parents will react. Meanwhile, Eli struggles to make a 2-minute production for a school project and smokes marijuana after learning Jake has taken it up. Also, Bianca doesn't know how to tell Audra that she and Drew are engaged. So, parents disapprove of transgender boyfriend, want mom to accept marriage or keep a relationship with mom, try to impress filmmaker. So, the want mom to accept marriage and keep a relationship with mom is ongoing, and the other two are solved in the next part. 22, Building a Mystery, Part 2. Becky decides to tell her parents that Adam is transgender, but realizes that she may not be ready to accept the truth. Meanwhile, after coming off the high, Eli realizes that his film is terrible, and Claire helps him make a new film. Also, Bianca wants Audra to accept the fact that she and Drew are getting married. So, Becky decides to go to reparative therapy, which she didn't need to go to reparative therapy. Her parents were obviously in the wrong, but, you know, conservative family. Ongoing, so she talks to Bianca, but it's not fully solved yet, because she's saying wait until after college to make this big decision. Kind of agree with Audra. And makes a new short film with the director's notes. So then the director likes it and says that Eli should try to get into the program, and he would be good for it. Audra never said what Bianca said. She never said that she was still bad news Bianca, and she never said that she wasn't good enough for her family. I think that was an overstatement a little bit. And 23. So episode, I do like how Audra told Bianca that, but, you know, whatever. Everybody takes it in a different way. Episode 23, Doll Parts, Part 1. Maya feels unappreciated by her boyfriend or band, so Tori gives her a pageant-style makeover. Meanwhile, Marisol thinks Mo, her boyfriend, is hiding something from her and finds syringes in his bag. Also, Adam tries out for the boys' volleyball team, but needs to convince his mother to give him permission. The number 300 was said in the dialogue 3 times because it was Degrassi's 300th episode. So boyfriend's attention, wants more of it. Pageant and Mo's health secret and taking tea. It's all solved in the next part, but Maya breaks up with Cam in this one at the very end. Bad decision. Episode 24, Doll Parts, Part 2. Tori and Maya become enemies as they compete against each other in a beauty pageant, and Maya goes after Zig. Meanwhile, Marisol accuses Mo of being a drug addict when in reality is hiding his diabetes from her. Also, Adam's nose gets broken in volleyball practice and he attempts to keep it from his mother. Technically, Zig goes in your mom, but we're not going to talk about that. So the funniest Marisol scene is in this video. I just want to mention it, where she's like, did you give Mo money this week? He's on drugs. So this is really, really bad, Marisol. It's just a really funny between her and Jake. So same problem. So we start with the boyfriend's attention. So Cam tries to talk to her and she just kind of brushes it off, which obviously you should listen to what he has to say. But then she goes to see Cam crying and he cheers her up and forgives her. And it's just a really, really sweet moment. And from that point on, he always tells her how pretty she is. And it's just like, she always looks pretty. And it's just like, I love it. Number 2, there's a jealousy added to that. But she kisses Zig, which obviously was a bad idea. And then Tori wins and all is forgiven. Tori doesn't know about the kiss yet, but all's forgiven because Tori won, so she's not jealous anymore. Number 3, Mo's health secrets. So Marisol and Mo talk and she gives him medical alert bracelets. I think it was good that they had a talk, and I think it was good that she wanted to know how to help him, and I think he really appreciated that. He just didn't want to have that conversation with her, which I get, but you have to tell your partners. And taking tea. So Audra told Adam that they'll talk about it, and they have a tender moment where she calls him son, and I think it's really, really sweet. Like, I just love it so much how she comes around to Adam being transgender and she's willing to talk to him about medication. 25. I Want It That Way, Part 1. Allie, who was extremely stressed with her schoolwork and her tutor sessions with Campbell, decides to have a little fun. Meanwhile, to be the lead in Eli's latest film and to catch the eye of Fab, Tristan decides to go on a cleanse with Tori to lose weight. Also, Imogen's mother disapproves of Fiona. So, working to go to a concert, losing weight to get apart, and to get a crush, trying to make a good impression on girlfriend's mom. It's all solved in the next part, so let's go. 26. I Want It That Way, Part 2. Allie convinces Dallas to give her pills in order to stay awake, but they soon threaten her health and relationships. Meanwhile, Tristan becomes obsessed with losing weight, which could only lead to deadly consequences. Also, Fiona bonds with Imogen's mom more than Imogen does. So, takes upper pills, crashes car, and goes home to sleep. So, that's the first part. So she takes upper pills, which obviously is a bad idea, and she crashes her car and goes home to sleep. I think it's good that not that she crashed her car, but that she decided to go home to sleep and came clean to her dad and everything was fine. Losing weight to get apart and a crush. Tristan has a heart attack. So Owen makes him a workout and diet plan. And I think it's really good that Owen was like, look, I'll help you lose weight to get this part in the movie. And then Fiona gets Natalie and Imogen to talk at the mall about the renovation, so it's like equal ground and they can talk there. And Natalie's like, I didn't want to burden you, not that you were a burden. So, and then Fiona goes to visit her own mom because, they have a talk, but she needs to be with her mom. And I think that's really sweet. Apparently this episode features a reference to Drake. The second time in the series and the third time that former Degrassi actor is referred to in the Degrassi universe. The first being Sinead Grimes and Degrassi Goes Hollywood, and the second being Drake and Degrassi Takes Manhattan. But when did they reference Drake? Oh! You probably hope he brings out Drake or Kanye when they were talking about the Jay-Z concert. I was so confused. Okay. Episode 27, Tonight, Part 1. Whisper Hug had made the finals a battle of the bands, and Adam catches the eye of the lead singer of another band. Meanwhile, still reeling from the kiss, Maya attempts to get Zig interested in Tori again. Also, Claire feels like there's a double standard at home in regard to what she and Jake are allowed to do. So, Battle of the Bands, girl plays Adam, honest with boyfriend about kissing someone after breakup. They didn't need to have Maya tell Cam about kissing Zig because they were broken up. Like Katie said, you were broken up, but I guess she felt bad about it, so okay. Episode 28, Tonight, Part 2. As Whisper Hug prepare for the band competition, things get messy between Adam and Missy. Meanwhile, Zig tells Maya that he wants to break up with Tori in order for them to be together. Also, when Jake receives no punishment for smoking weed, Claire decides to arrange a family meeting. So, same problems, added in with Eli stuff. So, Whisper Hug wins third place for the Battle of the Bands, so that's good. 2, girl plays Adam. He realizes he wants Becky, so he goes to her house and they walk out on her dad. I think it was a power moment that they walked out on her dad, and I like that Becky was willing to be honest with her family and be like, look, I want to be with Adam. Cam goes to support her. When she sees him in the crowd, it's so cute. She gets this big smile on her face. And she talks with him and they make up, and it's so cute. He's like, are you still confused? And she's like, no, I want you. And he's like, good, I'm not going to let you get away with that easy. And it's so cute. Claire took the truck and her mom said Eli can stay over later. So that's good because her mom heard her, and I like how her mom decided to actually let it be good. So Cam gave her a bracelet, but never got to give her a new charm. It's really sad, but like, he got her a bracelet, and it's so sad. He'll never get to give her a new charm. And Becky and Adam kiss, and that's super cute. Everybody says "aw" around them, and it's super cute. 29 and 30 are together. It's Degrassi, Las Vegas. My battery ran out, but I'm going to do this really quick. Drew and Bianca fly to Las Vegas along with Adam, Fiona, and Imogen to elope. Meanwhile, Katie gets accepted into Stanford, but finds out that her family can't afford to send her there. With their spring break trip to Puerto Vallarta canceled, she, Marisol, Jake, and Mo go to Las Vegas instead, where she plans to win her tuition. They run into the others who invite them to the wedding. Drew begins to have second thoughts about getting married. Also, Katie gambles at a blackjack table and loses all her parents' savings. She meets Space Range creator Darren Howe, who will give her money if she sleeps with him. And Headley is in this episode. So, getting married, argument, and gambling her tuition and loses it all. So getting married is in the next part. Drew and Bianca make up in the hotel lobby after their argument on the plane because two drag queens, or drag performers, are singing their song. And everything's in the next part. So, also adding not willing to have sex with billionaire and break up. He thinks she cheated. So, Audra helps Drew make it up to Bianca with a performance after he walks away at the altar with Audra. And I really like that because she gives her a real engagement ring, and it's so cute. So she spends the day with him, but no to sex, and then he becomes a jerk to her, and that's when he just already gave her a check and champagne just for spending the day with him, champagne for the newlyweds, all that stuff. I just think he's disgusting. She then goes back to his room and almost has sex with him, but then she escapes, and I'm like, girl, why? He's also not that attractive. She's upset about it for a while, ongoing. So the breakup with Jake, where he thinks she cheated. But yeah, so those are my opinions. And obviously she's going to be upset about Jake, but all that will be solved in the next part. So come back next Saturday for the next part where it gets even crazier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.